Hi guys, my name is Karthik and I am from executeautomation.com, and today I'm pretty excited to see Visual Studio 2022 preview is out right now. So this is one of the major release of Visual Studio after quite a long time, because we have been using Visual Studio 2019 for quite a long time right now, and 2022 preview is right now available with a lot of improvements. One of the major improvement, as you can see, the first three that they have mentioned is the 64-bit upgrade. The 64-bit upgrade is really important because it improves the performance of our application loading, project loading, and execution a lot. And because we have been using the 32-bit app for quite a long time right now, this 64-bit is going to use the garbage collector a lot. It's going to reduce the number of footprints for the garbage collector, and it's going to improve the performance. And in the demo video, as you can see over here, it is showing the performance of the application or the project loading much faster than the 32-bit application itself, which we have been using all these days until 2019. And then comes the .NET 6 support itself. So now with Visual Studio 2022, we have the out-of-the-box .NET 6 version support, which includes the cross-platform app development as well as the .NET MAUI or .NET multi-platform app UI development is also supported out of the box, and it will be helpful for us to develop the application in cross-platform application out of the box. And then the best IntelliCode yet, and this is one of the major feature which I could see that it is going to improve our coding experience a lot itself, because now we can reduce the number of keystrokes that we used to do for developing our code, which is more common and more frequent that we used to do while writing the code. It can be app development or it can be writing automation code, which is going to be reducing a lot. And as you can see over here, it is going to improve a lot with this particular IntelliCode available, which is really cool. So this is one of the plugin available in Visual Studio 2019, but right now it is available out of the box in Visual Studio 2022. Apart from these features, there also comes some testing department features, like running the same test on multiple different operating systems like Windows operating system or Linux operating system, or different containers that we have within our Docker container, which is specified in the Docker file of our Visual Studio project. So we can able to run the same test on multiple different operating systems or platforms with our Visual Studio test runner. So this is going to give us more confidence on selecting or saying how the test is going to execute based on the platform that we choose, which is also very interesting, and it comes very handy while testing the applications. And apart from that, there comes even more surprising news from Visual Studio 2022, which is going to be the testing tools will not going to support the generic test and order test in 2022. They are going to stop that, and the code.ui test is not going to be removed from Visual Studio 2022 for now. They're going to hold the code.ui test within Visual Studio 2022. They're not going to remove it yet, and they are also not going to be removing some other features which they have mentioned before, something like these. You can see that these are the features which will not be removed from Visual Studio, like Web Live Preview, instrumentation profiling, code.ui, Azure Data Lake, web load testing, and test controller agents and stuff. So these are going to be coming to Visual Studio preview pretty soon, I think in preview 2, and then they are going to be there in 2022 for quite a long time, even though it is deprecated in 2019 itself. Well, as that said, let's start installing the Visual Studio 2022 within our machine and see how it actually works. So for that, I'm going to first download the Visual Studio Professional Edition, even though you can install the Visual Studio Enterprise Edition for free right now. And the installation and setup of Visual Studio 2019 is going to be pretty much exactly the same like how it used to be, but the only change which comes is during the installation process, you will see that there is no .NET Core development available. Rather, there is going to be just a .NET itself. So basically, you're going to choose the ASP.NET Web Development, which is going to include the .NET itself. So you can see in the individual components, you're going to see the .NET 5.0 runtime and .NET 6.0 runtime, and they also include the .NET Core 2.1 and 3.1 runtime there, which means this is the .NET that you need to be choosing. So there is no separate .NET Core development. It is going to be fused together within this particular installer itself. So that is the only option that you have got. So once I'm going to start installing, it's going to download all the required files, and then it's going to install, and boom, this is going to be your actual Visual Studio after all the setup. So whatever I told just now on Visual Studio 2022 in terms of the video, I'm going to show you in action like how it is going to be looking like. So creating a new project is going to be pretty much exactly the same experience that you would really expect to happen in your normal Visual Studio 2019, which I'm not really going to show because it's going to be pretty much exactly the same. Rather, I'm going to choose one of the EA Appium framework project, which I actually built in Visual Studio 2019. And I'm actually going to show you how it is going to look like in Visual Studio. So Visual Studio 2019 project, this is the same project. There is no migration kind of stuff. It is being popped up like that. Rather, it's just showing you the same Visual Studio's experience over here. And you can see that this is in the preview right now. And as I told you, the coding part, like the IntelliCode in Visual Studio 2022 has improved tremendously. So if I do something like this, so if I just come down over here, you can see that it's automatically taking you the configuration property. Just hit the tab over here, and then it's also going to give you a suggestion like string.empty is required as true, something like that. Rather, I'm just going to type some strings over here, for example, and then it is going to just show you what other things that I can actually do. So if I just do an is required like that, you can see that it just auto completes for me, and it also gives me a suggestion based on my configuration files that what I'm going to be choosing based on that. And then it just gives me all the different operation that I can do within my code, and it just comes in over here, which is quite interesting and quite cool to see that it is going to be automatically coming for us in Visual Studio 2022. Apart from that, as I told you, in Selenium C#, if you're writing the code, then the coding is also more easier, because if you go to any one of the page and then if you try typing anything over here, so you can see that once I come down, the IntelliCode automatically recognizes that I'm going to be writing this particular code. So you can see that it automatically tells me that you can choose XPath or whatever that you want to give, and then I'm gonna say something like this over here. If I just hit enter over here, it's just gonna bring me up all those things automatically. So this is pretty cool and pretty interesting to see how it is actually gonna work for us in IntelliCode department. And other than that, there are some glitches because Visual Studio 2022 is quite new. There are not a lot of extensions available, and this project is currently using SpecFlow as the execution part. If we just directly go to the extensions and manage extensions, and if we search for what is called as SpecFlow, something like this, we will not find any items, even though it is available in my roaming profile over here. It's not going to come because the SpecFlow for Visual Studio 2019 is available, but not for 2022. So not a lot of extensions that you will be using in Visual Studio 2019 is going to be available right out of the box in 2022. So we need to wait for publishers to publish for this particular version. That's something we have to wait at the moment. But other than that, it's going to be pretty much exactly the same thing. And now, based on the 64-bit speed, as I was talking about, it is really, really faster. So if I want to show you any other project apart from what this project is, hopefully it is going to open up in this particular window, if I'm not wrong. So if I'm just going to close, you can see that it just going to open the 3 project for me over here, and it is quite faster. As you can see, this is not something gonna be that faster in 2019. I'm sure it is very slower, but it is much faster in 2022, which is really cool. And that's it, guys. This is the only major change which I could able to see in the Visual Studio 2022 preview. This is quite interesting, and I'm going to do a lot of further testing, and I'm going to see how all these operations are going to work, the IntelliCode, the sharing options that is available out of the box, and all those things. And I will give you some more details while I start digging in while writing the code in Visual Studio 2022. That's it, guys. Once again, thank you very much for watching this video, and hope you like this video, and hope you will be exploring even further in Visual Studio 2022, and let me know what you think about in the comments below. Thank you, and you guys have a great day.